In this video, I'm about to reveal 15 secrets the wealthy use to stay invisible and quietly dominate the money game, while the rest of the world is too busy trying to look rich on Instagram. But first, when I say the word invisible, what exactly does that mean? Well, here, without taking too much of your time, let me paint you a picture. Have you ever seen a guy wearing a $10 t-shirt, eating a $5 sandwich, driving a 15-year-old Toyota, and thought, there's no way that guy's rich? Yeah? Well, plot twist. He owns 4 apartment buildings, has $8 million in tax-free investments, and could buy your dream car in cash, but he won't, because he knows something you don't. Meanwhile, Chad in the Gucci tracksuit with the rented Lambo, he's trying to refinance his AirPods. Welcome to the real game of wealth. The ultra-rich don't want you to know they're rich, not because they're humble, but because being invisible is a power move. And that's exactly what you'll learn in today's video. So let's break it down. 15. They buy privacy like it's real estate. The ultra-rich don't hope for privacy. They purchase it. Gated communities, unlisted phone numbers, trust-owned real estate, private security firms. To them, privacy isn't a luxury. It's a line item on the budget. You see, when the average person gets rich, they throw a party. When the ultra-rich get rich, they disappear. Literally. Many of them buy properties under LLCs or blind trusts, so their name doesn't show up on public records. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, their names aren't on half the homes they own. It's the holding companies that own them. They don't need the world to know they live in a $30 million mansion. They need the IRS not to know where to knock. Stealth wealth mindset. If people know where I sleep, they know where to sue me. So how else do they dodge attention like financial ninjas? Well, some of them don't even appear to exist. 14. Their name is never on the paper. Let me ask you something. If you don't own anything, can anyone take anything from you? That's the philosophy of the ultra-rich. They put their assets in shell companies, family trusts, and offshore accounts. So legally, they're broke. But functionally, they're untouchable. Their yacht, owned by an LLC in the Cayman Islands. Their art collection, held by a trust in Delaware. That $40 million Manhattan penthouse technically belongs to Green Rock Holdings, which is probably owned by their lawyer's cousin's hamster. This is Asset Protection 101. Not to be shady, but to be shielded. As I've explained in recent videos, it's not just about hiding from lawsuits. It's about control without exposure. Here's a real quote from a billionaire. Own nothing. Control everything, but don't worry. They're not hiding in bunkers. In fact, you've probably sat next to one on a flight without realizing it. 13. They fly under the radar, literally. All right, let's get brutally honest for a minute. Some of the wealthiest people in the world fly commercial. Middle seat, no flex, no private jets, no flashy first-class selfies. Why? Because private jets come with a paper trail, and attention is expensive, especially if you're trying to avoid things like lawsuits, kidnapping threats, or, taxes. Warren Buffett still drives himself to McDonald's in a 2014 Cadillac and books economy flights when needed. He's not trying to flex in the air. He's too busy owning the airline. Funny thing about the ultra-rich, they don't spend money to impress people, they spend it to disappear. They know once you start flexing, you become a target. A target for leeches, scammers, lawsuits, the media, and most dangerously, the government. But what happens when they do spend money? Oh, they spend it, just not in ways you'd expect. 12. They buy invisible assets that don't shine on Instagram. You won't see them flaunting iced-out watches or Gucci bags. You'll see them buying multifamily real estate in boring zip codes, index funds nobody talks about, farmland in the Midwest, or storage units that spit cash month after month. These aren't sexy. They're not going viral on TikTok, but they are quietly compounding into multi-generational wealth. They invest in things that grow, cash flow, and don't show. No one robs you for owning VTI and a bunch of parking lots. Rule of stealth wealth. If it shines, it's probably costing you money. If it's boring, it's probably printing it. And when it comes to spending, they've mastered a deadly art, looking broke while staying rich. 11. They dress like they work for the people they actually own. All right, picture this. You're in Starbucks. Guy in sweatpants, worn sneakers, and a plain black t-shirt walks in. You think, regular dude. You don't realize you just saw a multi-millionaire venture capitalist who's funding 3 of the startups you follow on Twitter. That's intentional. The ultra-rich understand one thing. People treat you differently when they think you're broke. No one asks you for money, no one tries to sue you, no one gets suspicious. This undercover millionaire look, it's not laziness, it's camouflage. They dress down to blend in, because standing out is risky, expensive, and exhausting. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray shirt every day. Not because he can't afford Gucci, but because he's busy running the matrix. Wealth whispers, ego screams. By the way, if you want to learn more about developing the stealth wealth mindset, go back and watch our previous videos to fully understand and adopt these habits. We've created specific videos to help aid you on your wealth building journey. Subscribe and join the channel to always stay updated. But just wait until you see what the rich do with their kids, because the next move is stealth mode parenting, and it's genius. 10. They raise their kids like they're broke. For a long time, I've wanted to discuss this topic, and I think now is the right time. Let me tell you something wild. Some ultra-wealthy parents tell their kids they're middle class on purpose. That $100 million trust fund, not discussed. The beach house, a rental, the family office, just dad's weird job. Because here's what they know. Once a kid feels rich, they stop trying. Warren Buffett famously said he wants to give his kids enough to do anything, but not enough to do nothing. Translation: don't raise entitled heirs, raise dangerous thinkers. So these parents put their kids in public school, make them get part-time jobs, and teach them how to earn money before they ever learn how to inherit it. In fact, many ultra-wealthy families use a tactic called a silent trust. The kid doesn't even know they're rich until they hit a certain age, usually 30 or older, to make sure they develop some grit first. Ultra-rich parenting motto: earn it like you're broke, inherit it like a ninja. And if you think that's clever, wait till you see how they hide their money without ever moving it. 9. They hide money in plain sight using legal wrappers. Okay, here's the thing. The ultra-rich aren't stuffing money in mattresses or Swiss vaults. They're wrapping it in invisibility cloaks called legal entities. Want to avoid estate taxes? Put your assets in a generation-skipping trust. Want to reduce income taxes? Route money through a pass-through S corporation. Want to delay taxes forever? Use a 1031 exchange on real estate. They don't just earn money, they hide it in structures that protect it. It's not sketchy, it's strategic. And they have teams of attorneys and CPAs who build these wealth bunkers. Here's the kicker. You could make $10 million in a business and pay 40% in taxes, or make $10 million through these structures and pay zero. Legally, the rich don't evade taxes, they avoid them with precision and paperwork. But the real stealth move? They don't even touch their money. They borrow it. 8. They live on loans, not income. All right, this one's gonna break your brain, and possibly the IRS's. Most ultra-wealthy people don't spend their money. They borrow against it. Here, let's say you own $10 million in stocks or real estate. Instead of selling and triggering capital gains tax, you walk into a private bank and say, "Hey, I'll take a $3 million loan against my assets. Low interest, no taxes. Thanks." And boom, you've got millions in tax-free spending power. This is called buy, borrow, die. It's one of the most powerful stealth wealth tactics in the game. Buy assets that appreciate, borrow against them instead of selling, die and pass them to heirs with a stepped-up tax basis, avoiding taxes entirely. This is why billionaires pay less tax than teachers. They don't work for money, they use money as a shield. But what happens when they do want to spend big? They don't use Amex, they use something way cooler. 7. They use ghost credit cards with no name or limit. Imagine walking into a luxury store, swiping a black card with no name, no numbers, and no limit, and walking out with $50,000 worth of stuff. Yeah, that exists. It's called a JP Morgan Reserve card, or for the ultra elite, a white label private banking card. These cards don't even look like credit cards. They're metal, they're unmarked, they're invitation only, and they don't show up on credit reports. Why? Because privacy is power. These cards give them concierge access, private jets, ultra insurance, fraud protection, exclusive investment deals, and zero public trace. No paper trail, no credit limits, no questions asked. If the average millionaire has a platinum Amex, the real boss has a card that doesn't even look like a card. But here's the real kicker. Even with all this power, they never flex. Why? Because of this next principle. 6. They play the long game, not the status game. The ultra-rich could flex. They could buy the yacht, the mansion, the private island with a volcano jacuzzi. but they know something most people don't. Status games are for people still trying to prove something. Wealth games? Those are for people who already know. You won't find them at the club making it rain. You'll find them at a dinner party with 5 billionaires and 0 Instagram stories. Their flex is this: peace of mind, asset protection, total control, and the freedom to walk into any room and not care who's watching. Because in their world, the loudest person is usually the poorest, and the real flex is silence. The rich don't need to be seen. They just need to win. And when they do win, they've already got a stealth play in motion to make sure no one finds out. 5. They give themselves fake job titles. Here's a fun one. Ask an ultra-wealthy person what they do, and you'll hear stuff like, "Oh, I'm in consulting. I help with operations." Just some boring real estate stuff. But what they really mean is, "I own a private equity firm that just acquired 4 companies this year." Or, "I quietly control $200 million in cash-flowing assets while pretending I still need coffee breaks." This isn't modesty. It's intentional misdirection. Because the moment someone finds out you're rich, the entire dynamic changes. Suddenly it's, "Can you invest in my startup? Will you mentor me? Let me sue you for emotional damages because you looked at me weird." So they stay low-key. If someone tells you they just do some consulting, but they're getting dropped off in a chauffeured SUV, you're talking to a stealth millionaire. But even when they travel, they make sure nobody, not even the government, knows what they're really doing. 4. They hold multiple passports and international residencies. This one's straight out of a spy movie. Dual citizenship. Residency in tax-free havens. Strategic passports. Why? Because one government can't control you if you belong to 3. The ultra-rich have a U.S. passport for access, a Street Kitts and Nevis passport for tax advantages, a Portuguese golden visa for backup. They use citizenship by investment programs to move like financial ghosts. If taxes spike in one country, they bounce. If a lawsuit brews, they shift operations. They're not just global citizens. They're sovereign operators in a system that the average person doesn't even know exists. Fun fact, the ultra-wealthy don't leave countries. They outgrow them. And just when you think they're off-grid enough, they pull this next power move that even seasoned CEOs can't spot. 3. They use ghost companies to buy influence. Let me introduce you to the concept of ghost money. It's when the ultra-rich fund companies buy assets or even donate to causes, all through shell companies that don't have their name anywhere. They might buy up land through a green energy fund, control media companies through a nonprofit trust, influence political decisions via anonymous donations from XYZ Strategies, LLC. They don't want credit, they want control, because influence without exposure is the richest game of all. And when the world reacts to a trend, a headline, or a deal, they're sitting in the background quietly watching their chessboard light up. Ghost wealth isn't about hiding money, it's about hiding power. And now we're getting to the really sneaky stuff. Let's talk about how they stay invisible, even to people who are looking for them. 2. They operate in circles of obscurity. Now this one's almost creepy. The ultra-rich intentionally surround themselves with layers of unimportant people. Assistants, managers, assistants to managers, lawyers, accountants, drivers, each one acting as a human firewall between them and the public. You'll never get their email. You'll never get their phone number. Sometimes, even their family needs to go through someone else. Why? Because it's hard to attack someone you can't reach. And it's hard to reach someone who doesn't even show up on the radar. You want to sue them? You're suing their shell company. You want to find them? You're meeting their lawyer's assistant's driver's niece. This makes them invisible by design. Not because they're paranoid, but because they're free. They don't just build wealth, they build firewalls of anonymity around it. And now, for the final move, the one that ties it all together. 1. They redefine what it means to be rich. The average person thinks being rich means Lambo, mansion, Rolex, private jet, flashy vacation on a yacht with 17 people and a drone. But the ultra-rich know that's poverty in disguise, emotional poverty, spiritual poverty, financial vulnerability. Because those things are liabilities in disguise. Real wealth, waking up with no alarm clock, having your time completely free, knowing your family is protected, even if you disappear tomorrow, living with peace, options, and zero stress over money. They've opted out of the game the rest of the world is stuck in. No flexing, no performing, No need to prove anything to anyone. They aren't on the Forbes list. They're not even on your radar. And that's exactly the point. The richest person in the room might be wearing New Balance sneakers and budgeting his coffee, because stealth wealth isn't about hiding. It's about winning so quietly, the world doesn't even know you're playing. So now you know the truth. The ultra-rich aren't playing the same game as everyone else. While most people are screaming for attention, they're building legacy, they're buying control, they're sleeping in peace while others are posting flexes they can't afford. So if you're serious about building real wealth, start thinking like them. Stay low, move smart, don't just grow your money, protect it, don't just chase success, opt out of the noise. And most importantly, make power moves that don't require applause. If this video opened your eyes, comment the words stealth wealth if you plan to take it to the next level. And if you're ready to play the long game, check out my next video, the 10 money moves rich people never talk about but always use. It'll take this strategy even deeper. We'll see you in the next one.